I'm a killer. I'm a murdering bastard, you know that? And there are consequences.
And what are those consequences? Gains, you guys. So this is week 6 of the UHF, and I'm giving you an update on how it's been going. So 6 weeks into the ultra high frequency program, first time doing anything like this. And so far, the gains are coming in. So you'll see here the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday sessions. Just a few changes that I've made to the UHF. Obviously, when I'm training, if something says 310 pounds and I'm feeling good, I'll push it to 315 like I did here and move these sexy 3 plates very, very easily. Look at that long ass pause. Amazing. So, in this video, you hear some background tunes, just a flavoring of what I'll listen to in the gym, and I'll put those songs and those bands in the description box below. And some of the things that I've done with the UHF that have made it a little bit more individually driven and a bit more successful is one, making those weight adjustments like I was saying, up or down, even down sometimes. If it says 430 and I'm like, I kind of feel beat up, I'll go 425, 415, whatever. It really doesn't make that big of a deal. What makes a bigger deal is just the consistency of training. So remain flexible on the UHF plan. That's the big suggestion that I have for you guys. The next thing that I'd like to talk about with the UHF plan is, because of the prior knee injury that I've had and I'm recovering from just recently in the last month or two, really getting back to full squat training, I've had to take the second block, the last day from the past 3 weeks, day 5, which for me was safety squat bar. I've taken that day completely off and just instead decided to choose to make my day 4 a little bit more heavy on the lower body work. So doing like single leg press and that kind of stuff. Just the knee had been acting up, so rather than push at the first sign of any sort of issue, I just stopped. And that was a lesson learned that I had from when I first experienced knee pain last summer, and I just decided to keep pushing. Huge mistake, so I decided to not do that. Took the last 3 weeks off from having an extra squat day, and instead just put a little bit more leg curls and leg press and stuff on one of my days. Just a little bit more, not too much, not too crazy. So these squats here are 375 pounds, I believe, and this was after hitting 445 the day before for a triple on my 3-2-1 plus sets with squats. I didn't film that. The battery had died on my camera. I was hoping I could show you guys that triple with 201 kilos, I think is what it was. It felt pretty good to get the triple fatigued. So those 375 squats afterwards, I mean, the next day felt pretty good. Bench felt good. Got 5 reps on that 315, so that's pretty sweet. These are my heavy deadlifts. So this is off a 2-inch deficit. I've made big changes to my programming for the final 6 weeks up to my meet, which is April 2nd. And the biggest changes have been revolving around my deadlift, actually. So the deadlift, I've taken it light and just focused on getting a lot of volume for quite some time. And I feel pretty good about it. This is 475 or 215 kilos, and you'll see me move this off a 2-inch deficit pretty well. That one, not so good. I just didn't brace properly on that one. But, you know, I was pretty fatigued during this session. I'd studied for a bio exam, studied for English. I had this big essay I had to do then, and just in general, just work and life and that sort of stuff will catch up with you. So I think I had 5 or 6 hours of sleep heading into this deadlift session. Need to put some DMX on there, but I made it through, got 5 rep max with 475 off the 2-inch deficit, and that was a sign for me that I could increase my deadlift intensity, and that's what I've done. So for the next 6 weeks, I'll be doing some reverse band work just to work on that top end and get some heavier weight in my hands. I would like to be doing some reverse band work near the meet above 600 pounds, so that way I've got about 600 pounds in my hands, 4 reps heading into the meet. And that's the idea. I'll be doing a lot more 500-pound work from the floor for the next couple of weeks as well, so you'll see that. And those are just the big adjustments I've made to my deadlift training. I've bumped up my slingshot work as well, so I'll be getting some heavier work on the slingshot. And I feel good about that. The slingshot work from this past week, I think I got 445 for 5 reps or something fatigued, so that's pretty good news for me. That means my raw bench is somewhere near that. I've always been able to estimate 4 to 5 reps with a slinger, meaning about 1 rep raw. So this is the final session that I did in this 6-week. Remember, I've been taking Fridays off, which would be my 5th session. This is the 4th session. This is my final raw paused rep, and then I put on the slingshot. So it's 315, great pause, put on the slingshot, go to 325. And the slingshot, you guys, big thing with a slingshot is most of us want to just hit heavy singles and heavy doubles and just do big time overload work with the intensity. Why not instead overload your volume with the slingshot? And that's the approach I've always had with the slingshot, is just overloading my volume. I can already move these weights. This is 345. I know for sure I could do this for 1, but why not put on the slinger and do it for like 8? Doesn't that make a little bit more sense? At least in my opinion it does. So this is 345 pounds, moving pretty nice, just squeezing the bar, controlling it, and trying to just basically imagine that I'm moving this without the slingshot. Because my best bench in competition is only 347, I would like to add to that going into this next meet. And I think by bumping up my slingshot work, I will be able to do that, and I think I'll be able to do it sustainably. That's a fatigued 5-rep max there. I think if I were to go fresh, I could probably get 355, 365 fresh with the slingshot. So maybe be able to grind out a 350 or a 365 bench raw. Maybe. We'll see what it looks like come meet day. No promises. So this is the deadlifts following the heavy deadlift work. Remember, on the UHF plan, it's a full body program. So these deadlifts are 430 pounds, I think. And I did 5 sets of 3. All moved pretty light. I opted to wear my belt just because the fatigue was still there. I hadn't, just recovery has been a little bit off, been not getting enough sleep. Really, that's the main issue. And so with the belt, it just lets me stay a little bit fresher, keep my pulls strong, and it keeps my movement specificity high because I do plan on wearing a belt in my meet. I am dialing in my bracing with the belt, and I'm going to continue using the belt. I mean, that's the thing about using a belt, is that it's a tool. You need to learn how to use your tool, and if you barely ever use it until you get up to your meet, you're gonna have a hard time bracing. So with belts, I suggest that you probably throw that thing on at a minimum 4 to 6 weeks out from your meet, so that you could just hone in your practice of actually using the belt. So the band you're listening to now is Belhor. It's a friend of mine, their band out here in Denver. Freaking sweet metal band, so I'll go ahead and put them in the description box below. You can check those guys out. And these are the changes I've made to my UHF plan. Hope you like them, and thanks for watching the video. Talk to you soon.